one of the things that always comes up when we talk about safety too in these sellers is going to be, okay, what do we do? Well, we told you about, how OSHA rates incidents. There's a couple of things that I want to point out under the training is people always ask, why do we train? Well, OSHA states that anybody that climbs a ladder has to be ladder safety trained. Okay. So the reason why you train is because you have to. OSHA states it. So the other thing is that comes up under there is going to be a inspection. Why do you inspect? And the answer is the exact same as why do you train? OSHA requires it. Now, what a lot of people don't understand too, James, is that when do you inspect the product? It's a very, very, very valid question. And most people say, hey, my guys do it once a month. Some say once a year, which is probably more than most. But the facts are that OSHA requires the ladder to be inspected prior to every use. So a lot of people just don't recognize that. So what we're doing and what you put up on the screen right now, you're going to see the tie into safety month. So part of what we're doing is we want as many people trained as possible. So if you set up a selling or safety seminar with one of the end users, we're going to capture the end users during that presentation, and then they're all going to qualify for a t-shirt. So it's a nice give, and you can see what we've done, some of the safety with the high vis, just like we've done on the top of the cross step. That's the tie in there. But safety month, driving that with t-shirts is a nice takeaway for us too. Now, what you're going to see, and it's kind of over your left shoulder, is the Climb Academy. That's one of the things that we use for safety. That's kind of antiquated now due to, all the resources available on the internet and the YouTube and things of that nature, but it still works very well. But the Climb Academy is simply an acronym. The C stands for choose, it's going to be choose the right ladder, fiberglass versus aluminum, the step versus the extension. The L is going to, look at the ladder. That's the inspect process that we're talking about. The I is going to be ensure a safe ladder setup. It'll go over, hey, working around the door frame, maybe locking that door or cording it off with safety tape or things of that nature. The M is going to be move safely, maintain 3 points of contact. And then last but not least will be the B, a safety expert, not a statistic. And it will go over just some generalities of that. But it goes over the do's and don'ts of the ladders. Obviously, it uses our product, but it's not a sales presentation because, you have Louisville ladder. You can do this, that, or the other thing. It's very, very generic in nature. It's a great tool, and it typically takes about 30 or 40 minutes to run the video. And James, what I actually like to do is to bring in some specialty products like we have today and show those products at the end, because, you'll be surprised once you've done this, you're going to find out, that they've got some issues. So one of the things, like when I come into a facility, where I always like to start is I like to go straight to the damaged ladders. And so why do I want to go straight to the damaged ladders? Well, the damaged ladders tell a story. I can tell a lot by looking at the damaged ladders of what's going on. Do we have an abuse issue? Do we have somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing on the ladders? But the other thing is too, is one of the things you talked to me or we discussed earlier was the cost of the ladder. So what's the cost there? So if you've got a pile of 30 to 40 ladders, you can look those guys straight in the eye and go, hey, how much money you got sitting here? And so I want to take the point going to them is, what if I'm able to prevent them from getting to the pile altogether, or at least prolong them from getting to the pile? So with that being said, you've got their attention, because when you're in front of that damage pile, they can't dispute the fact that it's there. And so my whole point is use everything to your ability. You're walking past it anyway. So use it to your ability when you go in and you make that sales presentation. And so these types of things that we're doing right now in the show, it just gives me the opportunity to touch those people and let them know, hey, if you're walking by it, walk by it with a little bit of attention to the detail, because you'll be surprised at the dividends that it will pay at the end. And again, 9 times out of 10, if somebody comes in and says, hey, this is a price driven particular situation, what I find out when I walk out of there, price is probably the farthest from their list.